what we will do in this video is we will select all the trees from an input image. So this will be the input image, and then after processing it with Opencv together with the deep forest algorithm, so the result will be like this one. So we will be selecting all the trees with circles and then showing the total selected trees at the top of our image. So the first step that we'll do is to create an environment. And we can only do that if you have already installed the Anaconda package manager. If you have installed yet the Anaconda, you can proceed to Google and then just type download Anaconda. Then it will take you to those pages where Anaconda can be downloaded. So let's pick this one. So from here, you can now download a copy of Anaconda. So I am assuming that you have already installed the Anaconda. So the next step for us to create the environment is you look for the command prompt of the Anaconda. From our Windows menu, let's type here Anaconda prompt. And then we will create our environment by typing the command conda, create, then the name of our environment. We will name this test forest, and then followed by the version of the Python that we want to install for this environment. So let's type here Python 3.7. Then let's proceed installing this. Let's type yes or just type Y to indicate that we want to install everything. Now let's activate the environment that we have created by typing here conda activate test forest. Then the next step is we will install the package needed for selecting the trees. So we will type here conda install conda forge, then the deep forest library. So it will take a while because there are lots of packages that must be installed together with this deep forest library. Let's select Y to install everything. So at this point, we have already installed the deep forest library. The next thing that we will do is to install the Opencv2. So to do that, let's write here conda install and then conda forge Opencv. Then hit enter, and then we will wait for the Opencv to be installed in our PC. Okay, so I guess we have already installed everything. So now let's start writing our code for selecting the trees in a forest image. So let's close this one and then let's open our Anaconda and then let's select from here the test forest. So these are the environment that they have already created. So I'm going to select the newly created one, which is the test forest. And at this point, um, we have to install the Jupyter Notebook. So let's install and let's wait for it to finish. So I'm going to pause this for a while. And once this installation is complete, we will continue on writing our codes for selecting the trees from the forest image. Okay, so moving on. So at this point, we have already installed the Jupyter Notebook. So this time, let's launch our Jupyter Notebook. Then let's create a new notebook. Okay, so the first line that we will write is to create an import statement from the deep forest. So let's write here from, and then import also the Opencv. So next is we are going to read the image. So let's create here image path, and it can be found on my local D, and the file name is sm.png. Then after that, we will make use of this variable so we can open the image. So we are opening the image using the IM read of the Opencv. And then we have to create a model for detecting the trees. So let's write here my model, and then we will use the deep forest. So with this, we are creating our model variable from the deep forest library. And then we have to make also use the trend model available inside the deep forest library. So to make use of it, we will write here my model that use release. Then let's run this. So it will install the trained model of the deep forest, which will help us in selecting the tree crowns from the forest image. It may take a while because the size of it is around 146 MB. So I'm going to pause this video for a while, and then once the installation is complete, we will continue to write our codes. So the trained model has been installed completely. So let's continue writing our codes. So to make sure that we have already read the image correctly, so let's display it in our Opencv. So let's write here cv2.imshow. Then this is our input image, and let's write here img, and weight key is 0. So let's give this a try. Okay, so this is now our input image. So next is we will predict those trees from this image and then put a circle around it. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so this time let's create a variable that will hold the location of the predicted image. So let's write here box info, and then we will use the my model to predict for us the location of those trees in the forest image. So we will use the predict image method from the forest, and then we will write here the image path, and then we will state here that the return plot is false. We are not going to plot anything inside of our image, and we will do this later. And then let's try to see what's inside of our box info. Then let's run this. Okay, so this is now the location of those trees inside of our forest image. So we can make use of these numbers for us to write circles around of our trees. So let's do this at the bottom cell. So let's write here for each row that we have on our box info. So range, the len from the box info, we will iterate for each row to get the center portion of our selected trees by computing for the x and for the y. So let's write here box info that x mean on row whatever the row number is plus the x max divided by 2. We will do the same thing for y, and then this will become y max and y min. Then we will create a circle around it, cv2 that circle. Then let's write here that we want to write the circle inside of this image using this location, the x and y, and we have to convert the x and y to integer because basically they contain floating points. And then we will also specify the radius of it. And then the color, I'm going to use green, and then the thickness. And then let's add the text. So the text will be written inside of the image. You have to convert the integer from len of the box info. And then, so the location where we want to place is around 3. And then let's say 14. And then the font that we want to use, the size of the font, and the color of the font. Okay, so let's give this a try. And then let's try displaying this using the CV2 IM show. And let's run this. So there you go. We have now this result. So these are the circles, these are the predicted image, and the total trees that we have is 93. So that's the end of this video, and thank you for watching.